Well, now we've got something really special and really different for you. I want to introduce two gentlemen. One of them, Heath Hurwitz, who owns the model railroad that you're going to see remotely operated tonight by Robert Darby. And this is something that I may be wrong, but I think that this could be the future for many people in model railroading. Either they don't have the space, don't have the time, or whatever. I think what Heath has done tonight, I think it could turn into a game that I think a lot of gamers would be interested in. So I personally see a tremendous potential in the remote operation of model railroading that you're going to see tonight. This, as far as I know, is the only operational remote operated switching layout that we have. And I can't thank you enough for doing this. What we have done here is we're going to try to do this once a month on the second Wednesday of each month. And tonight we have Robert Darby. And I hope that we'll have somebody different that wants to volunteer for the next time we're going to do this on October the 12th. If not, we won't be able to do it. But I really hope that you all want to participate in this. I think Robert's going to show you it's not as hard as you may think. And there's no doing it right, doing it wrong. This is a learning experience and we're all learning together. So gentlemen, thank you so much. Heath, thank you for showing your layout. And Robert, thank you for being our guinea pig.
Thank you. Okay, Heath, you want to do an introduction then, or?
Sure. So my name's Heath. This was a little project that I came up with over the pandemic. A lot of people started getting into some remote operations stuff, and I sort of asked the question, could I possibly make it a switching layout? So I went with John Allen's Timesaver, and I did do a presentation on new tracks modeling about 2 months ago. So if you want to look back and check that out, I go into a lot of the various details, but it's an N scale switching layout. So it does have some of the features of N scale, you might say. But Robert has volunteered to give it a try, and he is going to basically select a challenge to do. We've set it up as a game. So he'll bring up a challenge, and you'll see it in a little bit on the top left of your screen what the challenge is. And Robert will be able to remotely operate the train. And if ideally, I won't have to touch anything, but sometimes I got to give the train a little bit of love and attention. So yeah, Robert, I don't know if you want to fire things up. People might hear the sound. I don't know if the sound will be.
Good evening, all. I'll go ahead and share my screen here in just a minute. I'm going to pull up Heath's website, and let me share my screen here and share screen. Push that button there, and let's see if it'll work. There it is. I think I got it. Let's see, now I want to share, and hopefully you can all see that.
There we go.
There's our 4 windows, basically, what Keith has set up through his magic of software and JMRI. I'm going to go ahead and pull up the bird's eye view first. I'll pull up the camera, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to start resizing the screens one at a time here. I'm working on a 17-inch laptop, so I recommend a bigger the screen, the better. That way us eye challenged people can see it very well. So let me pull the camera up here. We'll do that first. There we go. And to me, it looks like it's H. To me, it looks like it's HO. So, all right. So let's go ahead and I'll pull that screen down, and I'll go ahead and resize that a little bit here. Put that over there, and let me bring up the other screens here too, so I can get those ready.
So for those that don't know, I live in New York City, so choosing N scale was kind of important, something that I had to do just for space constraints.
Heath, we're
but
getting some.
technically this could be done at any scale. So if people are interested in offering up their space for remote switching and stuff like that, I'd love to talk to people about it. But yeah, Robert, why don't you keep going? Take it away.
All right. So mainly I'm an HO modeler. So I belong to the Napa Valley Model Railroad Historical Society for the last 40 years. So I know enough to be dangerous here. Well, let me start. I'll work here and bear with me here while I resize the screens. And then do it in such a way that I can see everything all at once here. I got to go back to the beginning here, see what I've done. Okay, there's a feed. That's what I want. I want the camera feed here first. I'm going to resize it and then bring it out to the top. And that way I can get the rest of the screens down here on the bottom. And, oh, I see another train going to be my invader here, which that gives me a little more of a challenge. So now I can pull up the diagram for the switches, and let's see here. So it'll take me just a few minutes here, and I'll try to leave the location of the challenge here, and I'll see if I can shorten that down a little bit so you can see how that will work here in just a minute. I got to pull up the throttle yet. Let's do this here. That way, and I'll turn on the layout here, and I'll show you how I turn on the layout here within the throttle. Let's see, let's move this over. Let's move this, shorten this down a little bit. Okay. And then that way I can see the, minimize this here a little bit. And that way I can see the challenge here too. Whoops. I shouldn't have done that, but let's see here where I can do that. There we go. That way I can see the challenge here at the same time. Okay. Oops. I'll figure this out.
And so just so people know as well, the challenges are multiple. Sorry, I'll mute that for a second. The challenges, you can go from spotting 2 boxcars to spotting 7 boxcars. So there's 7 boxcars on the puzzle at a time. And Robert is choosing the apprentice level challenge, which is spotting 2 boxcars. And you can see it says T3.1, which is track 3 spot 1, and then T2.2, which is track 2 spot 2. And the 2 cars he has to spot are the 3406, which is a brown car, and the 3250, which is a red car.
And you could also, if you want, you can pick journeyman or expert or master, and all that does is it just adds more cars to your switch list. So I'm still apprentice yet, so I select the 2-car apprentice challenge. So let me go ahead and I'll start it up here in just a minute. Let me get one more screen up here. I forgot. Okay, so now we got all 4 screens up here. Writing that out a little bit. Now on the throttle screen, you can see that there's a red square button there on the upper left-hand side. That's how you turn on the power. And I'll go ahead and turn the power on. And I got to bring the screen up here a little bit. I don't need the bottom part. I'll just bring it up here a little bit. There we go. Sorry about that. So I'll go ahead and I'll push the button. And now it turns on the power. Okay. And then I'll turn on the, if I give it a little bit of power, the sound will come on, and I'll turn on the headlight. And I'll go ahead and I'll start doing a little switching here. Of course, now I probably went the wrong way, of course. So I'll go ahead and I'll stop it. And then I went ahead and reverse directions. And then I'll go ahead and bring it back. Of course, there we go. I got to look at my challenge and see what I got to do here. 3486.
So Robert is using the JMRI web server interface for his throttle. We can also use Wi-Fi throttles. So if you wanted to use Wi throttle on your smartphone, or if you have one of the new TCS Wi-Fi throttles, you can also hook that up to the layout as well.
And 23-1. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to try to pull the 346 here first. And you always want to try on the diagram where he's got the switch numbers. You can kind of see I need a few switches here. So you push the button and you can see switch 14 turn to the main route, which is green now. And then I've got to turn number 16. Now I can go straight. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick up the box cars here. Whoops, I'm going to stop and change directions. I'm either forward. There we go. I should always turn on the bell, but the bell and the horn. It's a little loud, so I tend not to use the sounds if I don't have to. I mean, if you're doing a show like the public, it's nice that they want to hear, especially the children, hear all the noises and all the sounds.
So Robert, what do you think your plan is?
Well, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to pull up the, I should try to do, I know it, that's good thinking thing. What I want to do is I want to pull the 2533 back and, of course, and uncouple. I think it's derailed, Heath. Let me stop. What I did there. What I'm going to do is I should pull it up probably, let's see, I'm going to drop the 2533 first, I believe. Then go ahead and I'll pick up the 3486. And because that has to go on T3-1, so I need one more car there. So what I'll do is I'll go ahead and let's see here. Kind of have to think about this think about this, and then sometimes I'll go ahead and do a little extra moves just to. And whoops, got to make sure I'm going.
There's
forward.
Definitely multiple levels to this. There's the just controlling the locomotive, operating the switches, thinking about what moves you're going to make to complete the puzzle. The coupling and uncoupling, we're using delayed uncoupling magnets on the tracks for coupling and uncoupling. And then you can see the mainline train pulling in. It's going to stop before it enters the puzzle and right back out.
Okay, now we're going to make a reverse direction. What I should do, even though it didn't short, I'm on normal number 11 right now, just in case I don't want to prevent shorting for the mainline train. So I'll go ahead and start coming back. Yep. Stop. And because it's N scale, Keith told me it's a little fussy, so I've got to figure out where to.
Yeah. So Robert, what's happening here is you can see this little person here showing the that's the center of the magnet.
Okay.
So you had to push past the magnet to be able to couple that car.
Gotcha. All right. Oops.
Yep. So now go back forward.
Yeah,
so the way the delayed magnet works is it actually holds the coupler open while it's over the magnet. So you can then push or kick a car as well.
There we go. I got him.
And now you're all hooked up.
Whoop, that's okay.
Oh, and
that works. That'll probably work for me.
It bounced a little over the magnet and uncoupled itself.
Yeah, I had to make an extra move. That's okay. Let's see if we can. I'll pick up the brown car, the 3486 right now. And make sure I'm going forward.
And I'm just double checking that my people are all in the right spot. I added the people so that when the trains are over the magnets, you can still see where the center of the magnet is.
I think I got it. Yeah. Okay. Now, here, go past the magnet.
And this is a Great Northern switcher, and these are the Great Northern Circus boxcars, 40-foot boxcars. So I've got 7 40-footers on here right now.
Whoops. I gotta watch the momentum here. Let's see if I did it. I probably didn't. Let's see. Oh, I got it.
Yep. So you used that the uncoupling magnet right there to drop 39,992.
And before you switch, it's always a good thing to throw the switch first before you actually move. That also helps prevent derailments and shorting. Whoops. And I better throw a direction here too. There we go. All right. We're going forward again. Probably didn't want to do that. Let's see here. Yeah, that'll work. Yeah, that'll work.
So what do you think the hardest part of all this is, Robert?
The main part of it, just learning, momentum, learning where the spots are to uncouple the cars. Is that where, just how the uncoupling ramps work. Whoops. I better first stop, throw the switch.
I'm a little bit curious to hear from the people watching what it's like to view this, because there's definitely a part of it that is engaging for the person playing the game. But then for the people watching, I'm sort of curious what we can maybe do to make this interesting for them as well.
Okay, let's see. I wasn't paying attention, so let's back up a little bit.
Well, Keith, I'll tell you from my standpoint, since I've never seen anything like this before, the whole thing is just fascinating to me. I mean, I can understand the difficulty that Robert may be having trying to locate exactly where the uncoupling ramp is. That to me would be the hardest thing to try to figure out if I was trying to do this.
Yeah, and right now I can't see if the couplers actually move or not, so I'm kind of disadvantaged at that.
Yeah.
So, but I kind of know over experience over time, I know where the switch points are at, and I can see those. And sometimes like that 2533 is blocking the LED dwarf, but I can also go to the diagram and notice it's normal just by the indications on the diagram for JMRI. So let me move forward here.
One of the things that would help me is if you can identify the cards not by numbers, because I can't read the numbers, by color that you're talking about.
Yes. So the challenge itself does call them out by both color and number. And I did that for exactly what you're talking about, Jim, is sometimes it's going to be easier to see the color and sometimes it'll be a little easier to see the numbers.
Right.
And I know that 1 out of 7 men are colorblind anyway.
Yeah.
I'm not colorblind, but I rely on my because I'm a visual person, so I rely on the visual things and the details I pick up. And that's probably why I'm in model railroading over the years, because of the details and the visual part of it.
Anybody else have any questions or comments about what we're seeing here?
I think for me, what I was trying to do as well is, a lot of the remote ops stuff, you need a whole team of people to do it. And in my experience, at least, a lot of my modeling has been as a solo person in my basement. So I wanted to create something that, a single person could operate remotely without needing a team.
Well, frankly, Heath, that's one of the things that really attracted me to this, because I really see an awful lot of potential interest for younger people to almost make this a game. You could have competition, who can do it the quickest, that kind of thing.
Yeah, and once I get the whole layout built out, part of the idea of this as well will be I'll have 2 operators here locally in this room, and then the third operator will be remote. And out of the main yard, we'll actually then send the cars to this switching area for the remote operator to then, be more integrated with the entire layout as well. So it can operate standalone as a time saver, or it can operate with the rest of the layout as well.
Oh, gee, that's neat. That's going to be neat. Robert, what do you think of it?
Oh, it's wonderful. Actually, it's amazing what you can do in a small space. And some of you may know, but when Keith is actually in a small, very small room, and he has his office, he has the railroad, he has his storage. He does it very well. And a lot of people say, well, I can't do everything in a small space. Well, yes, you can. And then Keith has various gauges in his room on his shelving, and on his website, his YouTube channel. He goes into that, how to do the wiring, and he's working on scenery and just what he collects, and things like that. So let me back up here.
I love seeing that mainline train come in and then go back out.
Yeah, that's kind of, and that gives me another challenge here. So let's see what I can do here. Got to figure out how I want to accomplish this.
Yeah, and there have been some people that have done the expert level, all 7 boxcars. It takes about an hour or so to do the entire puzzle when you do it that way. And then, it's various times for other things. The original Timesaver, sort of the first step was just spotting the cars. The second step was for time. Then they added a step where it was who could do it in the least amount of moves. I don't necessarily want this to be a competition, though, because I want it to be open to everybody. I want, to spread model railroading and spread operations and spread switching to as many people as possible without the intimidation of it being a competition. But I am trying to gamify it to, make it interesting and so that people can challenge themselves more than challenge each other.
Right.
So right now I'm going to pick up the 3250 boxcar here, the red one. And I'm going to have to do seriously thinking on how I'm going to have to spot it here. I won't have to do too much thinking, but I noticed there's looks like to be a runaround here. So I'm going to have to pick up the car and then run around it to get it on the end I want it. So let's see here. Let's throw a switch.
So let's see. So 3250, this red car here, you are trying to get it to track 2.2.
Mm-hmm.
Now, where is that?
That's what I'm trying to remember. 2.2 is over here. So this is track 2 on this side.
Okay.
So he's going to need to drop that somewhere and then use the runaround to get to the other side of it to then leave it in its spot.
Stop. And I see there's a switch here I don't need. So let's go ahead and normal that one. Make sure that's okay. And we'll throw this one. And there we go. All right. All right, let's back them up. And if I do this right, I can actually put two cars, the 19040 and the 3250 together, and I should be able to run around them without fouling here. So let's give it a whirl here and see if I've done this right.
Well, it seems like you've gotten the throttle part of this down pat.
Yeah. Yeah. Over the years, I've learned, to watch momentum. And when you're doing switching, you want to do it kind of slowly,
Yeah.
in case you do make mistakes, or if you need to, like I just did. Let's see if it disconnected, and we'll see if it did or not. It did. So it looks like it'll clear both fouling points here, and I'll stop it and then throw the switch, and I'll make my runaround move, and I got to throw another switch. Okay, now I should be able to. I know the let's see here. I still hear it, so I believe I'm not on a frog, so I should be able to run around it.
The other thing I've done, and you can see it right here on this one, is I do have these Walther's movable bumpers that I can, add on any of these spurs to make the spurs shorter if needed, just to like increase the difficulty.
Okay, now I'll make sure I clear that one, and then I'll back it up.
So the way the delayed uncoupling magnets work as well is you have to push against the magnet until you're over the center of the magnet, and then you pull away. And it's that sort of push-pull motion that allows you to uncouple it.
Whoops.
Yeah, so you're going to need to do the uncoupling right there. Oh, you got lucky, it dropped it anyway.
That'll work. Let's see if I can delay action back to 2. Let's try this and see if the delay action works here.
Yeah, so I can see the couplers are open right now. So if you do go back and push against it, you will be pushing against the open coupler, which means you can just basically kick it into its spot.
Make sure I reverse direction. And
there you go.
There she is. So that's really it. I mean, the challenge for me is done because I've spotted the T31, the brown car in its spot, and the red car in its spot.
Yep, there you go. So it's the 3486 right here on track 3, spot 1, and then the 3250 right there on track 2, spot 2.
So
I think that's fantastic. Congratulations.
Thank you. So if you want to go to a different, I'll just show you guys. If you go to like the journeyman and you hit challenge, it just adds new cars for you. So eventually I might get up to, a master with all the rest of those cars. So that's the fun. It's really fun. And, it's just, with the HO or any size layout, you got to work out your bugs and make sure your wheels are clean. Definitely make sure your track is clean. Minimize your frustration by minimizing certain things in your layout that can make it not fun. So that's what I have.
Well, let me ask you a question. Would you like to come back and do this again on the 12th and do the journeyman?
Sure, I can try it. You betcha.
because I mean, you're doing so well here, and I think this is a learning experience, and I think we all have got to see how you're doing it, and you're kind of learning as you go, and that's helping everybody, I think, George.
That's correct. I mean, it's and with every year I've been in my railroad, I always learn something. And even right now, being I have no layout right now, I'm actually watching YouTubers like Heath and learning things.
Yeah.
So that's that, scenery. And I'm working on a private railroad right now with a gentleman in his mid 80s, trying to explain to him about coupler height and weights and just your basics, rail gauge, and things that he used to do a long time ago that unfortunately he's not capable of doing now.
Yeah.
So me being I'm the youngster, I'm helping him get his layout going. He wants to do JMRI operating sessions, and I'm getting there, but I've been working on his layout about a year, and I'm almost where he can start inviting people over. The biggest deal that he has right now, he's got old Atlas machines, and the turnouts are not, the frogs are not juiced right now. So I'm working on that. So
Well, I tell you, if you want to come back on the 12th of
Sure.
October for our show and do the Journeyman,
Sure.
Heath, how does that work for you?
That's fine with me. If somebody else wants to do it as well, we
That's
can
fine.
just sort of we could have Robert go and somebody else go, like, while other things are going on. Now, however you want to do it, Jim.
Well, that's fine. If
me.
somebody else wants to do it, I'm open to this, as many people as possible, because that's what this is all about for me. But at the same time, I think it would be interesting because we're not getting questions tonight, and I think people are, this is a learning thing. It's the first time I've ever seen anything like this done, and I think that may be the reaction to a lot of people. So if somebody else wants to participate, that's fine. Just let me know, and we'll schedule you. But Robert, I think you did such a beautiful job tonight that if you want to come back and move up to the Journeyman and show us what that's kind of like, personally, I'd like to see the kind of difference between the skill levels, if you will, of doing 3 versus 2, and how that all works. I think that would be interesting.
Okay. Yeah, I can do that. Be a pleasure.
Well, listen, guys, thank you so much, Heath and Robert. Thank you so much for both of you being here this evening and doing this. Does anybody have any questions before we shut this one down? Thanks again, guys, and look forward to see you next time on the 12th.
Jim,
right.
thanks so much for having us. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
I enjoyed it so much, and I hope you did.